I'm Andy Mulholland with the Handy Andy Real Estate Experts. Have you ever considered buying an acreage or a hobby farm here in southern Minnesota? Well, today we're going to talk about 7 things you need to consider when buying an acreage or hobby farm. But before I talk about that, I do want to point you to a couple links here on our video blog. The first one is a home evaluation tool where if you are curious what the value of your home is in today's market, you can sure use that tool to get an instant assessment. If you're looking to buy a home, the other link that we have is our Rochester Just Listed link, where you're going to be able to see every listing from every agency here in the Rochester and southern Minnesota area, and that's updated every single day, so much more accurate than websites like Zillow or Trulia that could be out of date. All right, so let's talk about the 7 items that you need to be aware of or consider when buying an acreage or a small hobby farm here in southern Minnesota. The first one is financing. Financing can be limited for certain hobby farms or acreages depending on the size of the acreage. Fannie or Freddie does not buy these on the secondary market typically when they're over a certain acreage size. So if you're considering a medium to large acreage, you have to get some special financing. Reach out to us. We have a couple lenders here in southern Minnesota that we work with. There's only a couple that exclusively work with these larger acreage type properties. So if you can't get financing, don't give up. The next thing to consider is well and septic systems. With your well, what is the depth of the well? What is the age of the well? Typically when you're buying an acreage, you're not on city sewer and water, so you have to consider what the well and the septic look like. As far as the septic goes, how old is the septic? Is it in compliance? You're going to want to make your offer contingent upon a septic compliance inspection, a state compliance inspection. The next thing to consider is the outbuildings. What size are they? Do they fit your needs? They can be expensive to add later, so you want to make sure you've got that figured out when you go to make the offer on the property. The next thing is your livestock or animal needs. What type of pasture areas are you going to need? Fencing can be expensive. Are there any fencing repairs that have to be made? Shelters, and probably the most important one is water. Where is the closest water area in case you're going to try to do automatic waterers, those types of things. Another thing to consider is what are the exact property lines of the property. A lot of times they're estimates with these older acreages that have had owners for a very long period of time. You may consider making your offer contingent upon a survey paid by the seller. Another thing that you definitely want to consider is how much mowing time is going to be required to maintain the property. Does it have a lot of area that needs to be mowed, and how much time do you have to dedicate to it? If you don't have time, do you have the funds available to pay someone to do that? And then the last one to consider, number 7, is the location. Are you on blacktop or gravel? Make sure that you consider what that's going to look like. If you're on gravel, your car is going to be dirty. Are you okay with having a dirty car? How much gravel is there? How well is that road plowed in the wintertime if you have to get out? What schools are this acreage a part of, and what does the busing look like for your kids? Are you going to have to take your kids to school if there is no busing available? And then the proximity to shopping. We find a lot of buyers who buy acreages sometimes forget to understand the convenience of living in town with shopping nearby. And what acreage you buy, you definitely need to consider the shopping that may be near. Just as simple as grocery shopping, getting gas, those types of things. So those are 7 things to consider when buying an acreage or a small farm, hobby farm in the southern Minnesota area. If you have any more questions, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, we'd love to help. So please reach out to us anytime. Take care.